Wait, can you see you're killing
El
me?
chupapanza filter. That's chilo, bro. Sí. I mean, you got a sink. I mean, you can even cook here if you want to, brother.
It's easy. Somebody's here. Hello?
Here comes AQST.
It's a private equity. Points.
Like what?
Nah. Yeah, you can. Guru Nation, how to position your site for private equity sale in 2030. Jaime, this is your first time at the studio, man.
First time at the studio here.
My home away from home.
No.
Daniel Rodriguez, there's a ghost in here, man. This lights are falling. You see his giant Lego man and his mini Lego man. And then you see the book back there. This is the home away from home, but Jaime's first time here. For those that don't know Jaime, you'll see him at Save Our Sites in San Diego.
San Diego it is.
One of your favorite resorts.
That's the go-to resort when we go to San Diego.
Really?
Yeah.
Paradise Point.
Yeah.
And you'll see him there. He's my business partner, nurse practitioner. He's been in YCT now for 4 years. We've been documenting the whole journey, even before when it was just an idea.
That's right.
And we're here now in 2026, January. And it hasn't gone all smooth, but relatively speaking, it's much better than I anticipated. Much smoother.
Yeah.
Although this last year, we kind of took a turn towards a mini depression. But we're hopefully coming out of it. And we've made some tweaks. We can talk about why. Mm-hmm. But he's been along for the ride. And he's a nurse practitioner that's gotten involved in site ownership and really taken a big step last year as far as being more involved on that front, like from a leadership position, because that's new for you. You've never really, I mean, you were like with the hospital, but for your own business, your own staff, it's a little bit harder.
It's way different.
It's your own money at that point.
Yeah. And then even when I was a supervisor at the hospital, I always had a director, and we had an HR department on top of us. And the HR department had like people on top of them, right? So it's different.
It was more like a nominal role, not really. But in this case, it's like, like the rubber meets the road. You know, we have HR, but it's really more for keeping us legally aligned and not letting me primarily get us in trouble.
Or me.
You much less likely, but yeah. So. Started out great, expanded, got new specialists, expanded, enrolled, randomized. Last year, we kind of experienced a little bit of a lot of the worst. Like we had a PI that just kind of quit. He realized it's not for him.
Another one that moved.
We're getting we got news of another one that moved. We got kind of an issue with one of the studies where we didn't have, because of the guy that's quit, appropriate oversight, and went through audit, not a FDA, but a sponsor audit, and learned the hard way. We learned about studies kind of getting harder and stopping enrollment randomly. We got real excited about one study, then we didn't get it. They pulled the plug.
They did, yeah.
Because of the uncertainty of Trump and the new FDA and all that. So last year was like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And mostly roller coaster going down.
Yeah.
Like there were not too many positive things that came out of last year other than the lessons learned and our cardiologist. We got a new cardiologist who's really leading the way this year for us.
Yeah.
So a lot.
The studies that we got before finished them up that they're actually going into this year as well. That kind of kept.
We got some repeat business from some good sponsors.
We got a referral from our coordinator. Recommended our site for their new study, and it came directly from the coordinator because he likes us, and we work with him pretty good, So we got that study.
And
Very
there
good
might be
sponsor.
another study.
Yeah.
They emailed us yesterday about it.
Yeah, very good sponsor. Dot coordinator. It's on the top. I don't know if we can say names or not, but he's on the
Oh, you
top.
can name our staff.
Yeah, no, the coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. Shout out to Kevin. Then he's awesome. Always responsive. He knows the program.
He's been on the podcast.
Oh, that's
he's our monitor, not
Yeah.
the coordinator, but
Yeah, he's our monitor. Yeah, he recommended us for their new study, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you guys are doing what you need to do. I mean, if something needs to be fixed, it gets fixed in a timely manner." And then,
I actually got to invite him to SOS because he's in San Diego.
yeah, that's true.
So it
That's
makes
true.
sense for him. I'll hook him up with a complimentary tickets.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so last year was also staff wise. You know, we hire staff, and we thought it was like the very good hire, and ended up being not so good.
We learned that too.
So that's that. You know, it happens. It's life. It goes up and down. Kind of want to minimize the downs, but this year looks very promising, and we're
We look leaner.
yeah,
Well, we are leaner. We have people that are committed,
that's right.
you know, the ones that are here, which is not easy to do. And it's not easy to find.
That's right. On that same note, last year, on a very good note, Dora found a international medical graduate staff. She's awesome. She's very good.
She hasn't been on any Guru Nation podcast, but she's been on YCT
Yeah.
already.
So
several times.
we hit the lottery for her. Unfortunately,
we hit
understand.
that's a LeBron James draft pick.
Yeah, definitely. That was like the Spurs getting Wemby, you know, kind of thing.
That actually is.
Yeah, so we understand their potential. It's way, way, way up there. So we might not have her for long, but definitely
we will.
Definitely will.
We got a plan for her already.
That's true. That's true.
Because I told her medical monitor. Matter of fact, her plan is congruent with ours. It's essentially a 4 or 5 year plan. And then by then, the landscape might change so much you may not want to go somewhere else. Because
True.
if we end up becoming a site network,
Which that's a goal.
you know, which is the title, by the way, a long intro to preface this podcast. This is gonna be a long one, man. With this is how to position your site for sale by 2030, and that means, and we're gonna get into what that means. We've talked about these topics before, but not in one place, because the landscape's changing a lot, man. And maybe we start with this. This is not even in my talking notes, but I sent it to you and Dr. Joe and Chris yesterday. Dr. McCary, the FDA head, the new one,
The new one, yeah.
on the All In podcast. And he discussed what the FDA is trying to do.
Okay.
So they want to do a lot to speed up the process for sponsors,
Okay.
which ultimately is good for everyone. But if you know how to read the tea leaves, there's two narratives that can come out of it. It's great for sites because what they want to do is get sponsors to do more. Ultimately, they want to compete with China because China's starting to kick our ass as far as phase 1 studies and IND, so investigational new drug. They want to start doing more of that here again. That means making it an easier pathway for sponsors to get approval.
Got it.
So in theory, it's supposed to get busier for sites. But some of the ways they're doing it is, well, you don't need 2 phase 2 studies anymore, maybe only 1. Okay? That's, for sites, traditionally, like, that's not a good. Now, if you're getting more sponsors to do more phase 2, that's a good. It'll make up for it.
It'll even out. For the
It's
site.
supposed to.
Okay.
The next thing is for phase 1. Well, you don't need, you can, he started talking in that podcast, and this doesn't mean it's going to happen, but you can start combining phase 1 and 2, and then combining phase 2 and 3. And because they're using something called Bayesian modeling, which is essentially more predictive rather than like you better pre-screening essentially.
Okay.
The sponsor, which if you know one of our sponsors in NATO, one of the sponsors on the pod, what they're doing, they're making us kind of pre-screen better in order to get the study.
Yeah.
More of that. The sponsor already going to know what type of patient is likely to respond to their drug better.
Okay.
So they're going to want you to find those kind of patients. And if that doesn't prove that that's the case, it's a failure, right? If it proves it's a success, then they're going to open it up for the general population too, and they're going to do it on the post-marketing, like a phase 4.
Oh, so they're jumping.
They're also getting AI modeling way more involved. So what does that mean for sites? It means what got you here for the sites that have been here for a long time is not what's going to take you necessarily to the next level.
Yeah.
And these things will happen slow, but
Yeah.
I think the sponsors are going to find a way to do more with the sites themselves. I think site networks will become more important. I think CROs slightly less important.
Okay.
And so you'll have more of a direct relationship with the sponsor. Kind of like we've been seeing with 2 or 3 of our favorite ones. And then we had one small one where we had like not a good experience. It was basically our fault. So more of that.
Okay.
And that means the sites are going to have to get better internally at systems, technology.
Quality.
You know, we talk about Gleam. We talk about Patient Ace, that you have it on your cup. Shout out to Patient Ace. This is helping sites get patients for their sites and pre-screening and all that. We're going to automate things. Sites, no one's going to tell a site to do any of this. It's going to be in your best interest to do it. So if you want to successfully transition your site into a saleable asset, we're trying to do it too.
Yeah.
And that we kind of have the blueprint for what it's going to be. But the FDA is kind of leading the way and making things more streamlined for sponsors. They want the sponsors to start manufacturing more in the U.S. They want sponsors to start utilizing U.S. sites. But the site networks also want to differentiate themselves, and they're starting to take more CRO market share. They're starting to have their own technologies that they're building in-house. They're starting to have QA. And so we're trying to do a little bit of all of that ourselves too. And there's a lot of mergers and acquisitions, consolidation, super cycle. It's already been happening. I think what the FDA is starting to push, sponsors actually are in agreement with. If you listen to Eli Lilly, CEO, on the All In podcast, Cheeky Pints, he talked about the same thing. He said to the host, we have plenty of money. What's stopping us from doing more trials is not money. It's the sites and the CROs and the regulatory slowing us down, not the money. So the FDA is on the same page. They say, okay, we're going to make it more incentivized for you guys, especially American companies, to start doing this. Money is not the problem for a company like Eli Lilly or the top 30 of them.
Yeah.
But they're not giving that money to just anyone. And I do think the more consolidation happens, the more technology gets embedded in what we do, the less profit margin there will be for sites. Like, you'll start seeing that slowly go away.
Yeah.
Where if you look at a CROs, if you take one CRO versus another, they don't differentiate much on pricing. Everything's pretty much the same. When it comes to sites, it still varies based on their ability to negotiate. I mean, there's some sites, the same study, one side's getting like 3 times more just because they negotiate better, they justify their systems they use, their policies. That's going to get consolidated.
Yeah.
And so there's not going to be that room to
negotiate.
Yeah.
Negotiate it up, right?
Everyone's going to kind of be squeezed more towards like the middle.
Well, at that point, it's like any other job, right? Just have to adjust and adapt.
Yeah.
Also, with all these new technologies, it would help us or help the sites be more efficient, right? Like Gleam, it'll be data entry. You want pre-screening, patient names. You know, you want reminders. It could be Creo. It could be patient names. You know, so you'll need less manpower.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, machines, AI will take over a big role as well. And I mean, we're already seeing this moving forward in many areas. I mean, you got cars driving themselves, right? You got robots at some restaurants taking your orders.
There's even sites like I had the CEO on. He's a former biotech founder who started a site network after he sold the biotech. Billionaire. Tilda, I think, is the name. They came to SOS last year. I had him on the show. They have virtual coordinators. Like, if your job is on this thing in front of a screen, primarily, like, those tasks will be automated.
Yeah.
Your job will be everything in between.
You know, I just talked to IT guy in the clinic that I work for. And I'm like, hey, man, I need a dictation software. I need something to dictate. It takes me quite some time to type. I try to explain my notes very good, so it takes me time. And then all these grammar errors I have to go back and fix. And he was like, well, you got 2 options. There's one that you just dictate, and then it dictates. But there's this other one that it's AI, listens to what you're saying, and then puts it like on an HPI, puts it on the review system, puts it on the assessment, and it just transcribes what you're saying into the note. And I'm like, oh, I like that.
And if it wasn't for the regulations, you know, you can already use Gemini to do that.
Yeah. He said it needs to like be approved and whatnot, but that's an option out there.
Yeah.
And I definitely see that becoming an option like very soon. Same thing in clinical research. You know, the coordinator, the machine can ask the patient, like,
getting the narrative. Yeah.
Like I was sometimes when I'm busy, I'll put my Gemini AI, but I'll put them on the talking mode, and I'll have a conversation. Hey, I'm trying to do this, and then it's just talking back to me, and I'm like, wow, this is because sometimes you have to just old-fashioned way you sit down and type, and this thing I just put my headphone
really
piece
good.
in it, and I'm like,
and the more you do it, the more it knows you.
I'm mesmerized. He remembered. Yeah. Because I had asked him for my daughter's having a Sweet with her friends Sweet 16 party. I had asked him for like music with that are like catchy with, and then when I asked him about something else, like, well, since you like the bass, and I'm like, oh, this guy remember what I asked him like 2-3 days ago.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I think everybody's trying to be more efficient. You know, the FDA is no different, and the sponsors or the big pharma will be no different.
No different.
They'll try to save money whatever they can. Completely understandable. But then us, site owners will try to do the same. And I mean, we're trying to do the same already, right?
Our job is really, and it always has been, it's just the more of the tasks that get automated, the more clear it becomes what our real job is to allocate resources, whether it's human or financial, towards doing studies. That's what it is. And doing more, growing that.
It would definitely take care of the timeliness on the Alcoa, like right away. You know, like it will transcribe everything.
Contemporaneous.
It would take care of it right away.
Immediately. And this FDA seems to be very pro AI, which the sponsors love. I'm telling you, the only reason it hasn't started yet is because no sponsor has had. The CROs do whatever the sponsors tell them. As soon as a sponsor like Lilly says, IQVIA we want you to start using this tool for the sites. It's over. Like Gleam, the EDC, automated entry. As soon as one sponsor says you have the green light, we're going to use you, it's over for everyone else going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're just waiting. It's not, production's going to improve.
Yeah.
GDP
Quality.
for the country is going to improve.
Quality.
Some people might lose job. That's the part.
That's the problem.
That's the part people are afraid about. But if your job is primarily stuff on this computer and nothing else, like a task, if your job is a task, you're at risk.
Yeah.
But if your job is orchestrating tasks for providing value, you're very safe. And if you get comfortable using these tools, this is why we have Gemini for all of our staff. Now, if you notice, some use it more than others.
Yeah.
Some look at it and say, that's scary.
Yeah. Which
And
it is.
I tell them, scary or not scary, this is the way it is.
It's not the future. It's the present. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's here and it's
Yeah.
here to stay.
Yeah.
Now, I know it makes things so much easier. Like,
Yes.
I remember back in college, me writing papers, and I would be like brainstorming, having like 4 or 5 different books, like, with sticky notes, highlights, and then my notepad and whatnot. Nowadays, I have like 3-4 tabs open with the different research or like papers I'm looking at, and I'm dictating to the computer to write it for me.
Yeah.
So
The
it's
knowledge is a commodity at this point. Knowledge is accessible to anyone.
Yeah.
But what's scarce is meaning and curiosity. Because if everyone has the same knowledge, what differentiates you? It's the finding meaning in it
Yeah.
and intellectual curiosity to find additional applications for that knowledge. That's what's going to make your job different. And if you're a site owner, same thing. Like, you can use your size to your advantage. You're small. These site networks are big. When they have to implement something, because you work at a big place, you have to ask a committee.
Yeah.
Then they have to meet.
Get
Then they
approval.
have to play politic. Well, what about this one? If you're a small site, you just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you have that advantage in those cases.
And then something that we're trying to do, and it's mainly you, I'm taking some credit for it by saying we, but you're trying to, at YCT, to streamline everything. We're working all this hiccups. Maybe we tried this, but that didn't work. Maybe we're trying this, but that's not working. So trying to work all these hiccups or growing pains, if you will. That way, when we replicate this, if it took us 5 years to where we're at, the goal is to take 4, and then for the next one maybe 3, and then for the next one maybe 2.
Yeah.
And then like it's each time we replicate it, we have like perfection it better. So that way, just more. One time, my friend has 5 kids, and he's like, "Oh, Jaime," I'm gonna say, "Man, how you do it with 5? I had 3, and it's a lot." It's like, no, the third one is the hardest.
Wow.
The fourth one, it's just repetitive. It's just routine, and that always, like, I always remember him saying that because he was serious. He wasn't kidding.
I only have one, and I think it's hard.
He was like, no, the 4th and the 5th one is just routine. And I'm like,
Makes sense.
makes sense. It's a similar concept.
Yeah.
The first one, hard, obviously. Unfortunately,
You're building the blueprint.
Unfortunately, the firstborn, even in kids, right? It's the one, like I was telling my older daughters, like, I'm sorry, like we're trying to do college fun. And my 6-year-old is gonna, by the time he goes to college, doesn't have a lot of money there.
Yeah.
My 14-year-old, not so much. And my 16-year-old, hardly any. So I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We will help you through college. We'll kind of compensate, but it's going to have to come out of my pocket, right?
Yeah.
Versus my 6-year-old, the goal is for, hopefully, the whole thing will be paid off when he reaches that age, right?
But there's trade-offs to everything.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, the firstborn or the first side, it's the one though it's working up all the hiccups. So the goal is when we expand, replicate, it will be easier.
It will
Way
be easier. And I have always been a fan of generalists.
Yeah.
And I think they will still ultimately succeed. But the site owners, we need to start thinking as far as specialists are concerned. Like, I'm convinced we need a director of community outreach,
Yeah.
like director of patient recruitment, and we're going to get into that. But before you do anything, if you want a private equity to take you seriously, if you want one of these site networks to get you as an add-on, which we're trying to do something different. We're trying to become the platform. But if you want to just get acquired, you need at least $1 million EBITDA trailing 12 months. So it doesn't have to be like 2025, 20, just the last 12 months.
The last year.
The last 12 months from whenever that you're in those conversations with that PE firm, or they're going to look, if it's April, okay, well, from April of last year to April of this year, what were those 12 months EBITDA? And it should be $1 million. That's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, which we almost got there in one of the years.
Yeah.
Last year, we're nowhere close. This year, I think we have a chance to be there.
Yeah.
We got a nephrologist last year, too, so there was some good stuff as well. And if you dig through the bad,
Yeah.
majority dominated bad, there was some positive stuff.
Oh yeah, there were some positives, definitely. But that's true. You know, you have to, in order to sell yourself, you have to like make money, right, or create money, or
Yes.
generate revenue.
So now you gotta be, that's the basic, $1 million at least EBITDA. Now, if you want to be, that's if you want to be an add-on. If you want to be a platform, which is even more scarce, which is what we're trying to do, meaning you need to prove that you can scale not just therapeutically, but geographically,
Yeah.
which we are trying to do. And I think we will do it this year with at least one other location. But we have got sticks in the fire. And this is where you talked about scaling, like the child analogy. Same thing here. We're going to use all the tools we're using, because whoever you end up partnering with is not going to know anything. They're like, yeah, what do you use? We'll use it. So Creo, Patient Ace, Monday, Gleam, everything we use, like our tech stack,
Yeah.
we're going to roll that into the next site. Then the departments. So the staff that we're training now, our core, we have 4 full-time staff. They are ideally going to be, their skill set is scalable as well. So, hey, this site is having issues with QA. Well, we already have a QA person. And plug her in there. This site doesn't know what's going on with community outreach or how to do biz dev. This person, our biz dev person, going to train you guys. You try to get some economies of scale when it comes to that. And you try to streamline the tasks as much as you can. Now, you can't replace a coordinator. So this is where I think those generalists still survive. But you create these platforms and you look for, if you want to exit by 2030 with a platform, you need about 5 million EBITDA. If you want to be acquired, if you want to just a PE to partner with you, you can do the 1 million, but have some potential with the scaling. That's what I think, which we're already in year 4. Like, we were talking to private equity last year, 2 years. When did we go to Chicago? That was last year?
I want to say it was last year. But we started
No,
talking the day.
we went in 2024 to Chicago because my wife was pregnant.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
So that was 2024 of October. We're talking to private equity, and their world was also impacted by the new administration. They kind of put a pause
Yeah.
to see what's happening. We're not going to keep investing millions if we don't have regulatory clarity on what's happening. Now we're starting to get some regulatory clarity. 2026, they say it's the year of the horse or the stallion or something. 25 was the snake with the shedding of the skin. 26 going to be like taking off. So we kind of have that regulatory clarity. And it looks like this FDA is very gung-ho and very pro-sponsor. Mm-hmm. So that means sponsor are going to be pro-site.
Yeah, they need us.
And the middlemen, I think, will be losing their power because they were dominating the last 4 decades.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you always want to, in a way, you kind of want to cut the middleman.
It's always going to have some...
It's always the case,
some bloat.
Yeah.
Some inefficiency. If, like...
And
the CROs had a great 4 decades.
I was going to say that the middlemen will be the CROs in this case, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
They'll still be around.
Yeah, of course.
They're actually buying sites. They're buying tech vendors. They're trying to become the new invention of a CRO slowly.
They're might be just a surviving tactic,
Yeah.
Like merge with, let's say a big CRO merges with the sponsor, but I don't know if
or a big site network.
The conflict of interest will be there. That the sponsor owns the sites too.
So there was a big case recently last week in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Of a sites independent site, not even related, with a small sponsor. They hired a CRO. It was a smaller CRO. That CRO said, "Don't worry, we'll pick the sites. We got this." They picked 5 sites in Miami that attributed 50% of the data. Those 5 sites had fraud, made up patients, MRI exams faked.
Oh, wow.
So they had template MRI exams where the summary was the same copy and paste on all of them.
Oh.
The auditor came from the CRO. The auditor basically was chased away. Was threatened, like, we know where you live kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
And it basically boiled down to the CRO. One of the executives at the CRO was a leadership at some of these sites, like an advisor.
Oh.
So there was conflict of interest there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that separates. But I think if you can separate them.
Yeah.
Because the IRBs are all consolidated too. The IRBs own the tech stacks. They own some sites. I don't think they own the monitoring capabilities, but they own like patient survey. And they're the IRBs. But they maintain that separation.
Yeah.
And the CROs have been buying sites. Last year or 2 years ago, IQVIA paid like $800 million, I think, for 30-site network. And that's why PE got into this. That went on a slight pause, but the M&A, merger and acquisition super cycle is still happening.
Was that Velocity?
No, Velocity is still on their own with like 100 some odd sites.
Oh.
Velocity's looking, I think it's them, to go into Mexico, Latin America.
Expanding.
In order to do if Lilly wants to do a international. So the idea is, what if Lilly says, that's cool, Velocity, or I'm just using them as an example, but that's cool site network that you have U.S. sites, but what about we want to do international study? Oh, don't worry, we have
we got
capabilities there too. Covered. And by the way, we have monitors. And by the way, we have tech. Like, they're starting to be the CRO.
Yeah.
And that's why they're looking for platform plays. No. And that's why they're looking for underserved markets. No. And like Border is perfect because it's like a launching pad to Latin America too.
Yeah. You're mentioning that, I'm thinking, I know a few doctors from just across the border, like 30 minutes from here, that will be more than willing to partner and start something.
The issue there is the regulatory on their end.
Yeah.
COFEPRIS,
yeah.
It's not the easiest to work with, but I think these site networks don't even care. They just want to have that capability. They're not making money from those sites, from the research. They're making money from the sponsor side.
Yeah, it's like adding a pool to your home. It will make it easier to sell, but you're probably not going to get that money back, right?
Right, yeah. Or like solar.
Solar, yeah.
If the buyer really wants this, and they're going to go with someone else unless you have it,
Yeah.
Oh no, we have it too.
Wow. Okay. Good. good. Yeah, I know. As sites, you have to like, you have to differentiate yourself from the others in more than one area, preferably, right? But at least on something, you know. I was really happy when this monitor that we have recommended us for another study just
Yeah.
because like he sees the value in us, right?
Yeah.
So that made me feel good, and I'm sure all of us, right? Now the patient population on our side, it's another good thing that you mentioned this before. That's probably why we get like the higher end of the pharma looking at us.
Yeah.
So you just have to like make sure. One of the times I remember one of the comments from after they monitor you the letter, the follow-up letter, it was like, yeah, just keep an eye on the timeliness of the data entry to the EDC, because it gets
Yeah.
put into
Yeah.
Creo like right away, right? But then to send it to the EDC,
And that's the next thing. That what you just said is a task
yep,
that is going to be obsolete.
yep,
It's a matter of time. The technology is actually already here.
it's already there.
They're just afraid to use it.
Yep,
That's like legal stuff. It's not that it doesn't work.
that's right.
Now, the problem for us small site owners, like when I started research site, it was still fun. We're still having fun doing research. I think by 2030, 2035, it gets so professionalized. There's no room for fun anymore.
Yeah.
Like the margins are squeezed. Doing videos, in the community with Daniel, I think there's not going to be margins for that. Like the fun, well, okay, when I started, it was paper EDC. There was no EDC, it was paper CRF. So you had the source on a paper, and then the sponsor sent you a book where they would peel the white and yellow and leave the pink. That was the CRF.
Old school, huh?
They would come every 6 weeks and pull the papers. That was data entry. So you didn't have to enter the data until right before they came. So I would be there at the office midnight filling out, the CRF so that we're prepared for the monitor.
Yeah.
And now you can make a lot of errors because you're tired. You're doing it fast. I mean, there's a lot of inefficiencies there. EDC came out and said, okay, the new standard is like 5 business days.
Yep.
Then it became 3 business days. With Gleam, it's going to be instantly.
Yeah.
And now all these sites that are not refusing to change with the times, all these site networks are using the latest thing to give them an advantage. So when Eli Lilly comes to you small site and says, well, what's your data entry timeline? Oh, 5 business days. That was okay in 2020.
Yeah.
In 2030, we expect instantly. Why you don't have that?
Yeah.
Oh, and then every task is going to be like this. The bar is being set very high by these site networks. And that's a good thing. But for the small site owners, the fun is getting taken out.
Now, I don't know this. This is just a question out of curiosity. When there's a big site network, sometimes you can see this on other industries too. The quality dilutes,
Yes.
because like for a small site network, the owner is there. The owner wants it to. I mean, for many, it's their source of income. So they want to be proficient. They want to be good and whatnot. They want to keep the PIs happy. But when you start losing that, I mean, I don't know. No. I'm just asking.
I'm not building this up to put these site networks on a pedestal. Because the flip side of that coin is exactly what you said. If you ever go into a chain restaurant versus a mom and pop where the grandma still cooks in the kitchen, the food is much better with a grandma that's been doing the family recipe. The problem is it's not scalable. Yeah. And if private equity comes in and tries to replace that grandma with someone else in another town, it becomes a chain. Certain things get better. They start letting you pay at the table, instead of waiting for the server. Oh, you just pay right here. Like a lot of things become better, but the soul loses, right? But at the end of the day, our customers are the Eli Lilly.
Yeah.
Like, we see patients, and it's important to be good enough of a soul that your staff are still happy to come there and that the patients are still happy to come there. But everything else, Lilly prefers let them pay at the table. Let them reserve ahead with open table. That way we don't have a crazy wait. You know, we're more predictable. Like, they want the best of both worlds. And the site network, our advantage is still certain things. Because when I posted something on LinkedIn about site networks are becoming the new CRO, I had an employee from a site network say, this is absolutely true. I can't believe she came out publicly and said this. This is absolutely true. None of my colleagues enjoy working for the site network. They're coming in and laying everyone off and using AI for everything. So they are losing the soul.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, how much of that soul is acceptable to lose for Lilly to still pay you versus not? If it becomes too much, Lily's going to say, hey, you guys have an issue. You know, like, we're not going to go with you. It's a balance. But it's less important until the sponsor actually
that's true.
says something.
And for the sponsor to say something, I think it's going to I don't think it's going to translate right away.
No.
And actually, as you mentioned, it would improve right away.
Yeah.
They'll see like real-time data entry. They'll see they're gonna see probably more volume because you have all this other platforms.
They're going to get what they want, which is predictability.
Yeah.
And you're going to, if you lose a little bit of that soul in the process.
Yeah. That's
Now,
true.
the best of both worlds is to have both. Happy
Yes.
staff, happy patients, and excellent. And I think the smaller sites can do that better than the bigger sites.
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting. I still see a lot of people from everywhere not happy with AI. Not happy with that.
not.
I probably want to say over 90% of the people I talk to, they want to talk to a real person, including me.
Yeah.
No, they want to talk to a real.
Well, Patient Ace will allow the AI to pre-screen patients on the phone. The voice is very good, and it's only getting better.
Yeah. So it's
We prefer a human too as site owners.
of course.
But if our human is busy or in the bathroom or eating, and a patient wants to talk right now, I'd rather have a soulless AI
Yeah,
that can do at least 85% of the job
that's right.
than 100%. And by the way, the human's going to have a bad day sometimes too and be mean.
Yeah,
You know, they're not perfect.
yeah,
So it's a very interesting discussion. But the fact of the matter is, if you step away and look enough, what are the sponsors? The FDA just said, we want to make this more incentivized for sponsors to do more studies in the U.S., to innovate more in the U.S., because we don't want to fall behind to China.
yeah.
We want to innovate more drugs here. How do we make that easier for them? This increasing their predictability is one way to do it.
Yeah.
Making it easier for them is another. Using this Bayesian thing, which I don't think enough people are talking about. It's effectively going to make pre-screening harder. So all this stuff is that we're talking about so far is cool, but the trials are going to get harder. Because the sponsors prefer the more predictable study results. And the FDA seems to be okay with that. Like that one study we had 2 years ago. Remember all those labs and switching the dose at week 6 and then switching it again. And sponsors love that because they can see from the same patient, okay, what happened? Like they have predictable results. The sites hate that. You're making us jump through all these hoops and this and that. Well, the AI is going to make that smoother. So, but it's going to be harder to find, I think, patients, which is the next concept of therapeutic specialization and the super site concept. So oncology and CNS remain the most attractive.
Yeah.
Metabolic and cardiovascular, recent explosion of GLP-1s, revitalized interest in this metabolic research, and then cell and gene therapy. Now, there's two type of site networks. There's the hyper specialist. We only do derm, but we have 50 sites in the country that do derm. That's the one I think IQVIA bought 30 sites for like I think it was 300 million, not 800. And then there's the sites kind of like us where we try to find underserved markets and we kind of do whatever we can in those places. So we have diversity of therapeutics, but we also have diversity of like the patients and the locations. I think both of those models work. I think what doesn't work is trying to do everything in a crowded market. Like in a Houston, in a Miami,
LA.
in a LA, to be a multi-therapeutic. I think at some point, if you're in one of those markets, you're either going to have to expand to an underserved market or be a niche. And a lot of the sites in those markets, their site owners don't want to move, so they're becoming niche. We only do oncology, or we only do a CNS. Matter of fact, we only do Alzheimer's. Like very niche,
Like,
so that they can get. And I know some site owners that made a bunch of money, 8-figure sales, doing just 4 or 5 studies a year. And they got sold by private equity in just like depression, schizophrenia. We only do 5 studies a year, but when we do, we're the number 1 enroller in all those trials, and we're making 10 million, 12 million a year. I think that's option A or B.
Yeah.
We're going the other way on the underserved part,
Yeah.
kind of by accident, but if I were in a crowded market, I would try to hyper specialize.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and I don't see sites doing that yet.
Well, the problem too is, I on the research side, you're trying to become networks, right? Now, on the general medicine side, like the clinics, the doctors, there's all this big chains that they're trying to become a what did they call it? It's a network. I forgot. It's like a healthcare network, if you will.
Health system.
A health system.
Yeah.
That's the word they use. So,
Well, like on Vita here.
like on Vita here, right? So now you only have a handful, very minimal, leftover providers and specialists that are not part of the
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
And if a
And
provider,
even some of them use the technology of that system
Yeah.
because they give them incentives like, hey, you don't have to be part of us, but you get this for free
Yeah.
if you just use
Yeah.
our tool. We're having that issue right now with one of our guys.
yeah, so it's harder to find providers out in the communities, whether it's a big city. Obviously, it will be easier because I don't think that they will take all of them, right?
Yeah.
But in a small city like ours or the underserved areas, it's gonna be even harder.
That's the challenge.
That makes it even a bigger challenge. Like we're trying to tap into every specialist that we can that it's not part of a system because the system doesn't allow them to have like a side job, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the other challenge.
And some systems do and some don't. And then some, you have to figure it out. And then the EMRs, the electronic medical records, even if one of our PIs is not even a part of that health system, but he uses their EMRs for free because they're very generous, this health system, and gives the tools for free to the doctors, not because they're Mother Teresa, but because they know data is the new gold in an AI-dominated world. In an AI-dominated world, what is the scarcity? Is the data. The real AI can do so much without real data.
Yeah.
Garbage in, garbage out. But if you start giving them real data that you don't have otherwise, now all of a sudden your tools and all the stuff you want to do, your pricing models and everything else they have, of course they'll give you the tools for free. We get the data though. That's the new gold. And these doctors don't care because they're very pragmatic.
Well, it depends on their need and their vision of what they want to do, right?
Correct.
Like the clinic I work for, they decided not to.
Of course not, because she has
Because
the vision.
They will have to, like the hospital will own the cloud, right, and all the
Yeah.
data. So yeah, it's.
But a one solo practitioner
Yeah, it makes
clinic
sense
who's getting ready to retire in like 4 years.
even if you're not getting ready to retire, EMRs are expensive. It's expensive to buy them, and it's expensive to maintain them. So
I hope they start getting cheaper.
yeah, so and then you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You know, the one that the hospital uses, like the Cadillac, right?
Yeah.
So you get the Cadillac for
You get
free.
the Cadillac for
It's
free, and you're like, hey,
I don't have to even pump gas in this thing.
all I care, if you're the clinician, all you care about is
Yeah.
paying your staff, maximizing your revenues, and minimizing your headaches.
Yeah, yeah. So
You know.
so it's an interesting world. Honestly, I think sites, as long as we keep innovating, as long as we try to keep up with technology as much as we can, and we don't lose that as you were saying, that soul, that heart for the patients, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
We just have to adapt and modify anything we can. Like,
Well, if anything, that keeps the big site networks that have plenty of money looking for new acquisitions.
Yeah.
Because if they start losing some of their soul, they say, oh, well, we got this 5-site network in Yuma. We're going to just tell the sponsor, don't worry, but we have it here, and then kind of let that one operate on its own, but keep the rest, system and all that stuff.
and the comment that the person made on that about people not being happy is
I'm going to find it so I can read it exactly.
it's just don't say the name.
I mean, she publicly put it out there.
It's just bigger systems. I don't want to say micromanage, but production, like productivity is measured a lot.
And then who do you actually get at those places? Is people that show up, do their job, don't do anything extra, which we have that too. But the majority of our staff now are ambitious, go-getter.
Yeah.
And that's because we kind of give them freedom, and we give them a sense that they're part of something bigger
Yeah.
than just enriching some private equity company. Who wants to go to work every day knowing, this hard work is just to make private equity a little richer?
Yeah.
As opposed to like Dan and Jaime told me, if we grow this, like I'm a part of this new management. I mean, that's different value proposition you're giving to a staff.
A lot of times you want to be in a place where there's chances for you to grow.
Yes.
Like to grow within the same organization, right? So yeah, and also, I mean, I also think we pay very fairly for where we live in, the area we live in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, our pay, I think it's hard to get that pay in other places around.
I even heard some of my colleagues in Miami, because I talked to. There's good sites in Miami too, guys. But
I'll go. As far as Miami goes, I'll go back to something somebody said. But go for it.
Well, shout out to Gabby Marinello, one of my friends out there.
Yeah.
Beautiful Minds Research. They've got good sites out there.
Yeah.
And because there's so many, they also don't have to pay that competitively.
Yeah.
But here I found the comment on the how site networks are secretly becoming CROs, which it's not so secret. But then if you ask any executive member of a site network, oh no, that's not our core competency.
Of course not.
But behind the scenes, they're doing everything that a CRO, positioning themselves to get more and more. But anyways, great article. Definitely seeing this develop at my company. Every year, people are fired without reason besides company profit, and the company admits it. It seems they are trying to fall deep into AI use wherever they can. Particularly seeing this with remote workers like source building and regulatory employees who have been with the company for 5 or more years being laid off. I am also seeing outsourcing of remote employees to other countries like India. Our group of source builders started at 12 builders 5 years ago. We are now down to 4. Currently, they are laying off remote workers 5 months in advance. It's getting scary out there, and it feels like a bad move to pick a new research company for future employment. Personally, I'm thinking of getting out of the field altogether,
Oh, wow.
as the future is too unpredictable.
Wow.
And this is
true.
somebody who's been doing this.
For
Let's
years.
see. And I know which company. I'm not going to mention it. If you want to see it, go to my LinkedIn on my article. But you mentioned the name already.
I mentioned the name.
You mentioned this site network
I
already.
did. I don't know.
This person's been in the space a decade or more.
Wow. Yeah. Well, one time,
It's not somebody brand new.
that I mean, it just happens. You know, if you're trying to maximize your income, and you have somebody that it's doing something that software or AI can do it,
Yeah.
that will be the first person to go. Unfortunately, right?
That will be. And if this person, like, you can't put, this is why my image for my article was this. I don't think I showed it to you either. I'll show it to the screen. It's this ostrich sticking his head in the sand. Okay. I don't know. Daniel, you might put this one on here, but here it is. Now, why did I pick that image? Because so many people, first of all, the site network executives are pretending this not happening. And the employees are trying to imagine a world where this is not the future.
Yeah,
That's foolish.
it is.
You need to get your head out of the sand and look around.
It is.
And then start using these tools for yourself. And she said it's scary. Yeah, it's scary. Go find a small site and help them become a site network. And do it with a good attitude,
Yeah.
not a bad one. And understand that those small sites are going to have their pros and cons too.
Yeah.
Some of the cons might be financial instability,
Benefits.
no benefits, but the pros are flexible. You have a good relationship with your colleagues. You're not worried about getting fired and replaced by AI. We're actually empowering you to use these tools, but you're still keep your job.
Yeah.
Like, that's what these workers should be doing, or figure out how to be a consultant. If you've done it this long, why not help a site become a site network?
Yeah.
Or help a doctor in your area.
There is that's the thing, there is potential out there. I mean, everything is not just doom and gloom and this is the end of the world and I mean, there are changes, and there always been changes. When computers came, they were initially used. When phones then came, the world's evolving. And
Yes.
we have to evolve and adapt, and be as productive.
But people have been lied to. So
it's like the magician. It's just like politics, man. Look over here, but I'm doing this over here.
you've been lied to. I know you've been lied to. You've went through the system longer than I have here at NP. I went through undergrad, pre-med, pre-farm. They want you to not think for yourself. And now in a world where you come out, it's even easier to plug in algorithms to make your decisions. But at some point, you're digging your own grave, because those tools are going to, at some point, replace you.
Yeah,
I never listened well, and I just figured, like, why not figure out how to use these same tools? I may not make the next Anvita ever in my life, but I can still do very well using the same principles they use, the same concept on a smaller scale. And I think so many people can do that, and even more so now with these things. But people have been lied to. Do your job, follow instructions, be loyal, and you'll be rewarded. And they're figuring out they've been lied to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, AI is changing everything. It's changing the game. It is. I mean, it's not just the software, because softwares before, you used to like put in the commands. You needed to, like, say, code it and be like, do this for me.
Yeah.
Now AI thinks for itself, goes back to research everything on the past.
Anyone can code. Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, the founder, he said the language of coding today is English. You used to have to know Python, all these computer code. Now the computers speak English.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can just tell them, I want this. Yeah. And all you need to know is how to put certain things where. At some point, even that's going to change.
Yeah. 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 Well, the word said Neuralink, it's...
You don't even need to speak it.
Yeah, you just...
But if you're a site owner, I think we have... It's 2026 right now. I think we have till 2030. Last year, I said we have till 2035. I think maybe. I think 2030 is the line in the sand to where these things become very mature.
Yeah.
And if you haven't differentiated yourself or you haven't figured out how to become scalable, you will either be driven out of business or get acquired for very little.
Yeah.
Or be irrelevant. There's a world where 30 years from now, all right? I'm going to ask you. I don't know the answer either.
30 years.
So 2066.
Okay.
Is that 30 years? No, 2056.
56.
Okay. I mean, God willing, we're both still alive. Do you think a research site exists? That's in our lifetime.
Yeah.
If we wanted to and we're healthy, we can still be working.
Well,
our PI is that older than that. One of our PIs.
Yeah. It all man, it's a tough one just because
I'll be a contrarian and say no.
I'm leaning more towards a no. I mean, or actually, it's a yes for me, but not the way we do it right now.
There you go. I'm there too.
You'll come in and then,
I meant the way we currently do.
Yeah, no, the way we currently do it, there's no way. There's no way. No. I mean, not even probably in 10 years. Maybe in 10 years it starts to like, you'll notice a big difference. You'll just sit down and a machine with a laser eye will like find your vein and get your blood and centrifuge it before you before you're even out of the office. You know
what I think's coming? Digital twins. So all these patients we have, we rely on a patient to come in, your blood, like you said. Let's go through the visit. You still need a human for that. There's not going to be a Tesla robot doing that. Maybe, but I think there's Katie, Luis, Lana, people like them will do it still. But they're working on already. They were working on this 10 years ago. Your digital twin, so like your scan of your whole body right now. PK, PD, they could run simulations. They do the trial on your digital twin.
On the twin.
And they'll pay you for your letting them use them.
But listen, I don't know. It might sound just a movie, right? But out of a good scan of yourself, or of someone, blood work, they can decode all genetic information. They can get all your DNA, and they're probably doing it already with those algorithms, with all those. They test the medication, and then they'll probably see how everybody reacted. I heard this. It's more of a conspiracy, but I don't know if you remember when they say, "Oh, find out who your lineage is, where you came from," and people were sending the DNA testing and all that.
I did the 23andMe. Yeah.
So imagine a huge database on all those DNAs, all these genetic codings, right?
Well, who ended up buying 23andMe? I think it was a drug company.
Most likely, and so they can run all those algorithms already
in perpetuity.
Yes, and then they'll know what they need to look for, or who they need to look for.
Yep.
Now, would the FDA accept some of those codings with less real human?
This current administration already said. Macri came out this week. Was J.P. Morgan conference in San Francisco, the biggest funding conference for pharma every year. Macri was there. That's where he was on this podcast. He announced they're allowing Bayesian method of statistical analysis,
and that's
which relies on predictive modeling.
So predictions.
It's already happening. The only thing will change is if we get like a new regime and they completely change the FDA, and then they go back to old school ostrich, stick your head in the sand.
Well, I once heard, I don't remember where, but it was one of this more reputable, podcasts, if you will. I
Oh,
once
so it
heard,
wasn't this one then?
no. This is no. It's not just a conspiracy, but they said that the government had like a cell phone and a computer, like years and years and years before they
DARPA,
became, available to the public, right?
yeah.
So all that is probably we're probably able to do all of that already. And I think it was Elon Musk that said
Yeah.
that we're probably able to do all this already.
Well, AI is already a matter of national security.
Yeah.
Biotech advancements is also a matter of national security.
And they're just gonna slowly release it, because if they were to release everything right now, it'll be chaos all
Yeah.
around the world,
Yeah.
not just the US, every single country.
Yeah.
So that now here's the question, and it goes by what you just said: how fast they release it. If you get a more aggressive government, or like politicians or whatever, or if you get someone that wants to slow it down more.
Well, the
And-
digital twin, if you told Eli Lilly, and we love Lilly, so we're not picking on them. I'm a huge fan of
yeah,
their
we are.
CEO. I mean, that's why I'm using them.
It's one of the best companies
Yeah.
I've ever worked for. I mean,
Yeah.
I can name 2, 3, and they're on the top.
Yeah. So if the FDA, if you tell Eli Lilly right now, hey, don't worry about CRO. You don't need CRO. We'll empower you to use these tools. And then at some point, hey, use sites when you need it. But like for some study, you don't need a site. You don't need to use a site. You have a digital twins. We'll allow simulations. You think they say, no, we really love that site in Yuma. Like,
No.
well, let's go back to them and beg them to do this. These
Let's
things.
negotiate a contract with them.
They want to do lunch and learns. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer.
We're the necessary evil.
For now.
And I think we all, as site owner, need to understand this. And if you're a worker, you need to understand it sounds cold, but we're putting ourselves in the same category.
Yeah.
We are the necessary evil between pharma and getting their products out on the market. If they don't need us, all this talk about let's sponsor Save Our Sites and make everything site-centric, they can gladly do without that. As nice as Paradise Point is, they can go there by themselves
Of course.
and talk about other stuff.
Of course. It is.
So if you're a site owner, you need to get on board with this. And the site networks too. Tech is the future. You need to figure out how to scale. Scale, speed, efficiency. That's what it's about. It's still about diversity. It's still about underserved patients. Okay, we still need that. We're talking a little bit of future, how to sell, position your site to sell. But to stick your head in the sand like that ostrich and think it's going to be like how it was in 2005, you're out of your mind. You're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Oh, yeah. Best case scenario never happens, right? Best case scenario, it's a merge of both worlds and everybody's happy, right? But we always say, hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So
That's right.
it's just...
Currently in 2026 and in 2030, we're not going to get that fast. Get ready for more difficult studies. Get ready for more stringent expectations from sponsors. Get ready for more competition, smaller margins, better technology, cheaper technology. So there's some good things out of this too.
Yeah.
And then if you figure out how to scale this and create more value so that a CRO or a big site network or a private equity will take you on because you've provided enough value, you created enough value that somebody else wants to pay a premium for it.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. Because to just do this and milk it and, it's a lifestyle business. Like I'm talking to myself. I've had a lifestyle business for 20 years. I can show up to the site in a hoodie and a beanie and nobody cares. That's not going to be the case
No, I mean, at any point that a site is acquired by a big network, by talking to some of the networks, right, or some of the PEs, it looks like they want to streamline everything. So probably you're gonna end up with the uniform. You're probably gonna end up with the dress code. You know, all this
I
little.
mean,
things.
neither of us are wearing it, but we have one.
Yeah. We
But-
have a polo shirt
Hey, we got a polo.
and a
But
hoodie.
the point is not to scare people. And we're not talking, I know we've gone off the deep end and talk about 30 years from now, but we're talking 4 years from now.
Yeah.
How to position your site to be a valuable asset. If you just keep doing what you're currently doing, which is what the majority of people watching are, including us,
Yeah.
you're not going to get very far. And at some point, it's just going to end.
Yeah.
So you need to slowly build yourself into the scalable, learn about rollover equity, learn about, how to deal with these private equities. I don't think they're leaving. You're going to, and then there's the whole part about scaling your site for therapeutic area expertise, unless you want to be the niche player in a crowded market, or learning how to scale throughout. The good news is there's so many underserved areas. Mm-hmm. There's doctors in all those areas like Dr. Smith, like Dr. Faceja, that are great PIs, that are on business people, that would be on board with working with someone like you. They don't know how to do it themselves, and that's the last thing they want to do.
And they don't have the time.
That's the last thing they want to do. But if they know they can get a piece of it by just trusting you and, hey, I'll go along, they're going to do it. So you're going to have, but I don't think it lasts very long. I think 10 years, and then all these PEs come in there. Hey, we'll pay you. Nobody wants to live in Yuma. Okay, we'll pay someone $200K a year to live in Yuma. Okay, you have a line of people waiting to live in Yuma.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, I think we touched base on this before, where a site network has a connection somehow, and you just mentioned it in Florida, with a CRO or the pharma itself. Now they're not gonna be looking for independent sites.
That's right.
They're just gonna.
That's right.
They need 100 sites. They already have them. They need this. They need different areas. They already have them. So
what's in our benefit as the smaller ones is when these big site networks established a brand that they like to work with these groups. The competitor of those groups will say, well, we're going to stay away from them. Yeah. We're going to go with. Well, and this is why we've had monitors tell us, I'm so glad you're not part of a site network.
Yeah.
We've had some issues there, this and that. So the short term, there's arbitrage. I think in the long term, those site network work out those problems.
Yeah.
There's just too much money here for them not to work it out.
There's no way we can compete with none of them.
No.
None of them.
No. So we're just happen to be in a period of time where it's a lot of demand and there's not a lot of efficiency yet. And there's a lot of politics still being played as far as, well, we don't really want to work with them. We prefer working with someone brand new. And because you're in a place like Yuma, we're willing to put up with your bullshit because we value that patient population. But they're not going to be willing to deal with this bullshit that much longer.
Yeah.
And by bullshit, I mean a little bit slower, maybe not as efficient, although some of our sponsors say that we are. So
I mean,
we're happy for that.
We're getting there, and as we continue to implement all these other processes, we'll get better.
And we'll iron out those bullshits.
And we're always, I every time I see a monitor, I always ask them, hey, what can we do better? Like, where we're lacking. And I always ask a lot of questions, clinical questions like that. And so I ask the monitor, say, hey, am I the one that asks you the most questions? And surprisingly to me, it's we're not. I'm not on the top.
You're not?
They said no.
Wow.
So, but they definitely say, but you're up there. But it's.
But that's good. The fact that you have a sub-buy that cares speaks volumes of the value of a small site.
Yeah.
But how do we scale that caring when we open a site in where you're not there?
I think the only way to not have that care go away is to partner with that person, and even then you have to find the right partner.
And even then, you need to have enough margins to make that make sense.
Yeah,
which we still have, but they're starting to go away soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your job is to get in now. The regulatory uncertainty is behind us. Trump is not the boogeyman. The FDA is not going to shut down research. Matter of fact, they want to increase it.
Yeah.
But they will change it. No more phase 2 for everything. Like this was for rare disease.
Yeah.
But that's just the opening.
Yeah.
Then they're gonna say, well, what about for the okay, yeah.
But if they
well,
want to compete with China in this case, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the Chinese FDA or whatever
it's the
called.
CCP.
Yeah. I mean, but you hear all these stories, and there's only one way to make things faster, and it's by streamlining, the processes, and also them knowing exactly what the FDA is looking for.
That's right.
The FDA will have to give the sponsors a very clear indications on this is what you got to prove. I want this type of data. I want this type of double-blind, placebo-controlled, multi-arm, multi-doses, or whatnot. And then at that point, the sponsor will be more bullish in a way and be like, okay, let's make this happen. And I think there's a world where small sites succeed and maybe expand and either get acquired or survive by themselves. But I think there's also a world where things don't do too well, and then we have less small sites.
I think that those worlds follow each other.
Yeah.
Right now, it's time.
Yeah.
5 or 10 years from now, I don't think so, or it will be less of a time. This is a good article. If you want to see the future, we'll leave it on this. If you want to see the future of research being the necessary evil, which we are, let's face it, we are.
Yeah.
We're the bottleneck. It's not the money, it's us. Versus on the sales side for pharma, who was the necessary evil there? Pharmacy benefit managers. Necessary evil. You have to negotiate with the insurance company. You have to go through these middlemen. Well, it's starting to erode if you look at what they're doing. Direct to patients, Lilly.
Yeah.
The CEO of Lilly even said, we can charge a lot less.
Yeah.
Direct to patient.
Yep.
If we get rid of all this bloatware in the middle.
Yep.
You don't think that's similar to us? We may not be as corrupt as those PBMs or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's middleware that can be squished and at some point removed.
Yeah. The sites, not just the small site, but the sites, I think the ethical line will be very fine line if pharma do their own research in-house, right?
For sure.
Because you heard stories, right? We heard stories where...
Well, there'll still be a need for independent auditors.
Yeah.
And I think there will be a renaissance of independent solopreneurs like Carla Vera, who I interviewed yesterday, Ashley Margot, these independent auditors that kind of know how to do everything.
Yeah, true.
And are able to remain independent. And then the sites, they'll be around. But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
It's interesting what... Unfortunately, we want to know the future, right? Stocks, you want to know which ones to do because they're going to go up and they end up not going as high as you wanted to. I jumped into the crypto wagon late and then it dropped. I'm like, oh my God.
You got more time on your hands.
Yeah, but unfortunately at this point, I think certain things are for sure that would happen, which would be implementation of AI, implementations of streamline. Maybe budgets will be streamlined as well. There's a budget for everybody. Take it or leave it, kind of thing.
I think
right?
that's gonna happen.
There's uncertain other things that we don't have control for, but
that's the part where I said the margins are, gonna get squeezed, in the next decade or so.
I agree.
And I could be wrong, but I'd rather be prepared for
of course
this kind of world than be caught off guard like that ostrich with the head in the sand.
Yeah. We can't do that no more.
And we don't want the viewers or listeners to feel that way either. So That's it. Everybody, you can follow Jaime. Anything else you want to add?
No,
This was a
thank you.
good one, man. That's a good hour.
It's maybe even more.
Maybe even more, man. Jaime Valles, his LinkedIn is underneath, and you'll see him at SOS. So come stop by and say hi, and we'll catch you later. Bye-bye. Hey, if you guys like that kind of content, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share. Stay tuned for more videos.